Hello students, today we are looking at sine rule. Let's consider this question. Find the remaining angles of a triangle in which side A is 12.5 cm, side C is 17.7 cm, and angle C is 116 degrees. Angle C is 116 degrees. So first of all, we will need to draw the triangle. So we are having the triangle angle A, B, and C. The side facing angle A is 12.5. The side facing angle B is angle B. So the side facing it is this small b. We are not given this, and the side facing this angle C is this one, which is the small c, 17.7 cm. Now we are told to look for the remaining angles. In this question, we are given only one of the angles, and we want to look for angle A and angle B. So first of all, we will need to write the ratio. The sine ratio is A over sine A equals B over sine B equals C over sine C. Now, let's substitute the values. Our A, the side A, the small a is the side facing the angle. Angle A is this, so the side facing it is this one, which is 12.5. So you are having 12.5 over, we are not given that the angle here, sine A, equals B is the side facing angle B. This angle B, this is the side facing it, this is B. We are not given, neither were we given the angle. Then we having C is the side facing angle C, which is 17.7 cm, and we are given angle C to be 116 degrees. So we'll substitute. Now you realize that we are given a complete ratio here, 17.7 over sine 116. We are not given any of this, but we are given only the side. We don't know the value of A. Since we cannot find two unknowns at a time, so that means we pair the one that is complete here and this, so as to look for sine A. So when you pair it from here, you are going to cross multiply. 12.5 times 116 is equal to 17.7 times sine A. So to look for sine A, we will divide both sides by the coefficient of sine A, which is 17.7. When you divide both sides by 17.7, so 17.7 will cancel here, so that you are left with sine A here. So that means you are having 12.5 times sine 116 over 17.7. So that means sine A equals 12.5 times sine 116 over 17.7. Now, so sine A equals 12.5 times, when you look for the sine 116, you get 0.8988 divided by 17.7. So when you multiply the numerator, you are having 12.5 times 0.8988. It gives 11.235 divided by 17.7. So when you divide this, you are going to have sine A equals 0.346347. So to get the value for A, this is sine A. To get the value for A, you need to look for the arc sine of 0.6347. When you look for the arc sine of 0.6347, normally you can get two values, because the values of A can be in two forms. So the arcsine of 0.6347 will give you 39.4. This 39.4 is in the first quadrant. If you want to look for the equivalence of 39.4 in the second quadrant, that means you say 180 minus 39.4. So 180 minus 39.4 will give you 140.4. So you realize if you look for the sine of 140.6 rather, is going to give you 0.6347. So the value of A can be either 39.4 or 140.6. So to get this 140.6, that means you subtract 39.4 from 180 to get 140.6, because sine is positive in the first quadrant or the second quadrant. But we only need one of these two as our answer. You realize that since we are given one of the angles in the triangle to be more than 116, so this is more than 90 degrees, and if any other angle is more than 90 degrees here, you realize if you add the two angles to be greater than 180, that is not possible. So because of that, the only applicable answer in this question will be 39.4. So since angle C is an obtuse angle, so that 160 is an obtuse greater than 90 degrees. And if you say you should add 140 plus 160, going to give you more than 180. So because of that, the only applicable answer here is 39.4. So if A is 39.4, the question says we should look for the remaining angles. And if you add angle A plus angle B plus angle C, should give us 180. Why? Sum of angles in a triangle. So you have been able to calculate angle A to be 39.4. You don't know the value for angle B. Then angle C is 116. Should be equal to 180. If you add 39.4 plus 116, it will give you 155.4. So you can now bring this 155.4 to this other side. So that means when plus crosses the equality sign, it's going to change to minus 155.4. 180 minus 155.4 will give you 24.6 degrees. So the values of the angles are: angle A will give you 39.4, angle B will be 24.6, and angle C will be 116 degrees. Now let's consider another question. In triangle XYZ, side X is 7.7 centimeter, side Y is 9.5 centimeter. You can see the sides are written in small letters, and angle Y is equal to 63 degrees 18 minutes. This means 63 degrees 18 minutes. Solve the triangle completely. Let's try to draw the triangle. So when you draw the diagram, so this is angle X, Y, and Z. So the side facing angle the side facing angle X is the small x, so which is 7.1 centimeter. This is angle Y, 63 degrees 18 minutes. Now 63 degrees 18 minutes, you need to convert that minute to degree. You will convert minute to degree by dividing the minute by 60. So we are having 63 degrees 18 minutes. So this 18 minutes is converted to degrees by dividing this 18 minutes by 60. So 18 divided by 60 will give you 0.3. If you add it to the 63 degrees, it will now give you 63.3 degrees. So that means the angle y is 63.3 degrees. The side facing it is what? Small y, which is 9.5 centimeter. Then we need to know angle z. We don't know the value for angle z and the value for side z. So now if you now try to write the ratio, so we'll be using the alphabets in this particular diagram, x, y, z. So side x divided by sine x equals y over sine y equals z over sine z. You will notice a change in the alphabet here. It's still the same thing. So instead of using ABC, we are using x, y, z. So, and that is what we use to write the sine ratio. X over sine x equals y over sine y equals z over sine z. Now, we are now going to substitute the values. Our x is what? 7.1 over sine x, which is what? We don't know the value of angle x, equals to y, the small y is 9.5, side y is 9.5 over the angle y is 63.3 sine 63.3. Then is equal to z. We don't know the side, z small z over the capital Z. So you realize that here the first angle we can look for is angle x, because you realize that in this is complete. 9.5 over sine 63.3 is complete. Then this one, you only have x not known, and you can only look for one unknown at a time. So you are going to pair this. So 7.1 divided by sine x equals 9.5 divided by sine 63.3. So from here you are going to cross multiply. 7.1 times sine 63.3 equals 9.5 times sine x. So when you get here, you divide both sides by, so we are looking for sine x. Because of that, you divide both sides by 9.5. When you divide by 9.5, so you are left with sine x this side. Then 7.1 times sine 63.3 over 9.5. So sine x is equal to 7.1 times 63.3 divided by 9.5. We need to know the value for sine 63.3. When you look for this value for sine 63.3, you are getting 0.8934. So you can now multiply 7.1 times 0.8934 will give you 6.34314. Then divided by 9.5. When you divide it by 9.5, you are getting 0.6677. So sine x is equal to 0.6677. So we are looking for x, not sine x. Because of that, you look for the arc sine of 0.6677. The arc sine of 0.6677 is 41.89. This is in the first quadrant, 41.89 degrees. So now you need to look for the equivalent of 41.89 degrees in the second quadrant. So that means you see 180 minus 41.89, which will give us 138.11. So if you look for the sine of 138.11, it also give you 0.6677. Now, you also need to make a determination here. You also need to know if which of these two will be the answer. You realize that if you use 138.11 and add it to the first angle that is given, you 138.11, if you add it to this, to 63.3 is going to give you a value that is more than 180. So that means the right answer that is needed here, it should be an acute angle. So since the sum of 63.3 and 138.11 is greater than 180, S cannot be what? Obtuse there. So that the right answer that we can accept here is 41.89. So if the value for angle X is 41.89, so and you know in this triangle you are having X, Y, Z. So you are given 63.3 and you have been able to look for angle X. So it will be easier for you to get the third angle, which is Z. So angle X plus Y plus angle Z should be equal to 180, sum of angles in a triangle. So your angle X is given to be, you've calculated it to be 41.81 plus angle Y, which is 63.3, plus angle Z that we are looking for should be equal to 180. 41.89 plus 63.3 will give you 105.19 plus angle Z is equal to 180. So this plus 105.19. If you bring this to this other side, it will be what? Minus 105.19, which should give you 74.84 degrees. So that means from there we are able to look for the value for angle Z, which is 74.81. Now you realize that we are told to solve the question completely. So we've been able to get angle X, we've been able to get angle X, we've been able to get angle Y. Now we need to get angle side Z. To get the side Z, now we are going to use the complete ratio, which is what? 9.5 over sine 63.3, then is equal to side Z over sine 74.81, which is for angle Z. So from here you cross multiply. When you cross multiply, so that means you're having 9.5 times 8 sine 74.81. You have 9.5 times sine 74.81 equals Z times sine 63.3. So since we are looking for Z, we are going to divide both sides by sine 63.3. When you divide this, so that means you are left with only Z. So Z will now be equal to 9.5 times sine 73.81 all over sine 63.3. Now, so you are going to look for the value for sine 74.81, which is 0.9651 over sine 63.3 gives you 0.8934. If you multiply the numerator here, 9.5 times 0.9651 will give you 9.16845 divided by 0.8934. When you do that, when you divide, you get 10.262424445. So when you do this to one decimal place, it will give you 10.3, because this is 2. The next number is more than 5. So before you call the decimal, those ones off, you add 1 to this, making it what? 10.3 centimeter. So that means your angle X is 41.89. Angle Y, Z rather, is 74.81, and the side Z is 10.3 centimeter. So for the work practice, number 1, in triangle PQR, angle P is 83 degrees. The side P is 285 meters. Side R is 216 meters. Calculate angle R. Number 2, in triangle ABC, angle C is 53 degrees. Side B is 3.56 meters. Side C is 4.28 meters. Calculate angle B. Number 3, in triangle ABC, angle A is 115 degrees. Side A is 65 meters. Side B is 32 meters. Solve the triangle completely. Number 4, in triangle ABC, angle A is 38 degree 18 minutes. Side A is 252 meters. Side B is 198 meters. Solve the triangle completely. Please ensure you like, subscribe, and comment on this video. Thank you.